Hello friends, hope you are fine. Today the postcard podcast is about Rahu in seventh house. As I said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. And so far as Aries ascendant is concerned, Rahu in seventh house is a good placement. Seventh house is a good placement for Rahu, but being having a malefic nature, we can't generalize it as a benefit for any of the ascendants. Anyhow, uh, if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, uh, a person will have extramarital affairs, isn't it? Rather, he will spend nights with other counterparts apart from marriage, and such a person is not trustworthy as a loyal husband or as a loyal life partner, because definitely if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, the person will have extramarital affairs. So there will be ill health to spouse also, and one will have impediments with this, in going to foreign lands. The partnerships will be affected. There will be problems with respect to younger siblings and elder siblings. One will have venereal diseases, skin problems as well. When Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, it will give positive results during its antardasha, and the results will be that one will be happy, one will live a happy marital life, and he will rather celebrate marital life. And during its antardasha, uh, in such case, one will have a chance to visit foreign lands, isn't it? So now, what is the remedy when it creates problem in the seventh house? What is the remedy? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. However, if Venus is utterly strong in the chart, if Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, if Mars is utterly strong in the chart, the strength of these planets will lessen the impact of Rahu. However, in this case of Aries ascendant, despite Venus being strong, because Venus and Rahu, they are almost the same natured planets. However, despite the strength of Rahu in this case, the impact of, despite the strength of Venus as a dispositor of Rahu, the impact of Rahu will still be there. In case the nakshatra rises in a Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu on the other hand gives affliction in the chart, that becomes a matter of concern. Or such, he will have a series of extramarital affairs. So such a person is not loyal, is not trustworthy as a life partner. Uh, so but he will conceive, he will be a diplomat, he will be having such illegal relationships with most of the opposite sex peoples, opposite sex natives rather. So this is the worst result that Rahu gives in this house. Now, what is the remedy? You can't remove Rahu from seventh house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. In case Jupiter gives favorable aspect, a close aspect to Rahu of seventh house, the impact of Rahu will lessen in the chart. Similarly, if in case Saturn gives close aspect to Rahu, in that case also the impact of Rahu gets lessened. So these are the main points about Rahu in seventh house in case of Aries ascendant. Okay. Now let us move to Taurus ascendant. Taurus ascendant natives, here Rahu, as I said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. However, and being a planet of malefic nature, we can't generalize it as a benefit. But under certain conditions, exceptional conditions, we give Hazunite, as I have recommended Hazunite to most of the, not most of the, to few of the natives, uh, under given conditions rather. However, Rahu in this case becomes debilitated, and this is the problem. When a malefic planet gets debilitated, it becomes a problem. It becomes a matter of concern. So, if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the eighth house, the native will have extramarital affairs, isn't it? He will rather spend many nights with other people other than the life partner. he has. So there will be impediments in partnerships, there will be impediments in foreign uh, you know settlement as well. One will have venereal issues, urine infections will be there, skin problems will be there, and problems with brothers will be there. And one will have a criminal mindset rather in this case, if the affliction of Rahu in the seventh house is quite close. Usually when affliction is more than 50%, it becomes a matter of concern in the chart. So on the other hand, what will happen if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So what will happen in case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement? It will still create problem because it's debilitated, isn't it? I can't say that it will not create problem. In this case, it will still create problem, isn't it? There will be extramarital bonds, and the happiness of marriage is not visible in this case, because Rahu being debilitated and not afflicting even. But despite the problem will be there. Why? Because Rahu is in debilitation. Now it is a matter of puzzle, it is a matter of knowledge of the astrologer, what to do with this Rahu in seventh house. And if there are problems coming out of Rahu in the seventh house in case of Taurus ascendant, how to treat that? So there are proper remedies, isn't proper remedies are there. However, if the close aspect of Saturn goes to Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. Now you can't remove Rahu from seventh house, but you can do the proper remedies for Rahu in terms of charities, and gemstone therapy is also a treatment rather, but it depends on the nature of chart. We have to analyze the chart, what is the problem and how much problem Rahu is creating in the chart. So these are the basic points about Rahu in seventh house. Now Gemini ascendant, Gemini, for Geminians Rahu gives good results, but the placement of Rahu in the seventh house is not good when it's afflicting its house of placement, and it does not have rather as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it like other planets. If it is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, it leads to extramarital affairs. Such a person spends many nights with the other people, and he can't be a loyal person as a husband, as a life partner rather. So a native faces venereal diseases, skin issues, problems with brothers, and having a criminal mind bent, if Mercury is utterly weak in the chart. So these are the main problems with Rahu in seventh house in case of Gemini ascendant. Now if it is not afflicting its house of placement, what will happen? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. So if it is not afflicting its house of placement, one will celebrate marriage, he will have happy marital life, and one will have a visit to foreign land, foreign settlement will be there, especially during the Antardasha of Rahu in such cases. However, despite the affliction, if Jupiter is utterly strong, Mars is utterly strong, Sun is utterly strong in the chart, under these conditions the impact of Rahu will lessen. And most importantly, if the favorable aspect of Jupiter and Mars, if the favorable, if close aspect of Jupiter or Saturn goes to Rahu, that will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. Now you can't remove Rahu from seventh house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the consistent remedies. So these are the main results of Rahu, and it's a matter of marital life, as these cases do happen today, but this is the reality. Now Cancer ascendant natives, as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, and in case of Cancer ascendant natives, it creates worst problems, it creates greater problems rather. Now as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and if it afflicts its house of placement in the seventh house, it leads to extramarital affairs. Such a person is can't be a loyal life partner, he spends nights with other people rather, and one has to face, venereal diseases, skin problems with the brothers, and one is having criminal mindset, especially when moon is utterly strong. When moon is utterly weak in the chart, and under such circumstances these problems will be there, and one will face impediments and issues in the partnerships, problems in the foreign travel as well. Now what to do in order to lessen its impact, that I'll mention after a few seconds. However, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the chart, what will happen? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. In case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement, it will lead to rather good results. Rather, it will good. One will celebrate marriage. He will have happy marital life. It will take the native to foreign lands, especially during the Antardasha of Rahu, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house. So these are the main results. In case it is afflicting, in case the favorable aspect, the close aspect of Jupiter goes to Rahu, or close aspect of Saturn goes to Rahu, in such cases it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. However, if such aspects are not there, what can be done? The consistent and regular charities for Rahu are there that can be followed in order to lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. So these are the main points about Rahu in 7th house in case of Cancer ascendant. Okay. Now Leo ascendant chart. So far as Leo ascendant chart is concerned, Rahu in 7th house is a puzzle, and it has disturbed many of the natives in the marital life, because issues raise up in such a placement. Rather, as I mentioned, that Rahu is a planet of Jala malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and it becomes a matter of concern when it starts giving afflictions in the chart. This is quite deadly. Rather, this is a practical basis. I'm going to mention that this is a problem when Rahu starts giving afflictions in the chart. However, in this case, if Rahu afflicts, if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, it leads to extramarital affairs. One rather spends nights with others. There's a series of extramarital affairs, and such a person is having a criminal mindset. Rather, he indulges in such activities. Most of the natives, having Venus Rahu conjunction in the 7th house, it leads to dirty jobs like prostitution and all that. So that's a matter of other. I'm not going to mention that. Rather, this is the podcast about Rahu in 7th house. So there will be impediments in settling abroad. There are problems with respect to partnership, and one has to one will face problem with the brothers, and one will have criminal mindset also, and these are the main results. However, if Saturn is utterly strong, if Sun is utterly strong, if Venus is utterly strong in the chart, under these conditions the impact of Rahu will lessen, and above all, if the close aspect of Jupiter goes on Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart, and these significations will slow down, isn't it? These will blur rather. So as I say often, that nature of every chart is different. In case the nakshatra, the lagna, Leo ascendant or Leo lagna rises in a Rahu nakshatra, isn't it? Rises in a Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu gives afflictions in the chart, and Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the 7th house. In such cases, there will be a network of extramarital affairs, isn't it? So I can't express all the things like that, because I'm not interested in such things, but this is reality that I want to know, I want to share with you. And one will have venereal disease also, skin disease also, when success in love marriage will be there, but that won't be a love marriage, that will be extramarital affair, and that will not stop. That will be with one person and leaving him outside, then moving to the other, leaving second outside and moving to the third. It will be like that when Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house. So these are the main results. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, not get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Virgo ascendant chart, if as I said, Virgo ascendant chart, these natives are usually unstable in their health and other issues also, and prone to transit afflictions, most dominantly rather. So in case of Virgo ascendant chart, Rahu gives good results under given conditions. However, Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, as in the case of benefic planets rather. So if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement or afflicting other planets, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. In case it afflicts its house of placement in the seventh house, it leads to extramarital affairs. The person will have definitely extramarital affairs. He will have series of relationships, illegal relationships. And in case the lagna arises in the Rahu nakshatra and Rahu is afflicting in the chart, in that case there will be a network of affairs the native will have. Despite being married, he won't stop, isn't it? So one will have venereal diseases, skin issues also, and there will be problems with brothers. There will be a person with criminal mindset if Mercury is utterly weak in the chart. In case the favorable aspect of Jupiter goes to Rahu, it will lessen the impact. Favorable aspect of Saturn will go to Rahu, it will lessen the impact. But there is proper gemstone remedy. There is a proper gemstone remedy through which we can control, and I have controlled Rahu in case of Virgo ascendants. So there is a scope. This is my practical and a different approach. So any Virgo whose impact of Rahu is close in seventh house, and he is having devilish mindset, isn't it? All the time, if Rahu is closely afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, he will have a devilish mindset, isn't it? He will think of coming in contact with the opposite sex over and again. There will be a continuously flow. And in case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement, the person will celebrate marriage, and he will have happy marital life, and he will settle abroad during the Antardasha of Rahu. So these are the main results. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. As I said that leave the charities aside. There is a proper remedy through a gemstone which can control Rahu easily in case of Virgo ascendants and in case of Pisces ascendant. These two ascendants in which I have solved the affliction of Rahu, and I have controlled Rahu with the gemstones. So there's a proper remedy for that, gemstone remedy rather. So these are the main points. Do share these podcasts with others who are having interest in Vedic astrology, so as their knowledge gets increased rather. However, Libra ascendant chart for Librians, it gives good results also, but it can't be generalized. Under given conditions, it gives better results. However, if Rahu gives afflictions in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern for all the natives, including Libra ascendant chart. If it is afflicting its house of placement in the chart, usually Librians are they are interested in having relationships with the opposite sex, and it is their nature. They will have relationships most often, most of the Libras. However, if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, the native will have extramarital affairs. He will have series of affairs, rather network of affairs, so far as Libra ascendant is concerned. And one will have venereal disease, skin issues, problems with brothers. There will be problems with respect to partnership as well, and one will have criminal mindset rather. So there will be problems with respect to business ventures as well. So these are the main results of Rahu in seventh house if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement. However, if Mars is utterly strong in the chart, Sun is utterly strong in the chart, Jupiter is utterly strong in the chart, Venus is utterly strong in the chart, under such conditions the impact of Rahu will lessen. And most importantly, if the favorable aspect of Jupiter goes to, if the close aspect of Jupiter goes to Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu. And similarly, if close aspect of Saturn goes to Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. So these are the main points about Libra ascendant with Rahu in seventh house. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. What could be done if Rahu is giving afflictions? in such case, you can't remove Rahu from 7th house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the constant remedies. Now, Scorpio ascendant chart, Rahu gets exalted in Scorpio ascendant chart, and in case it gives afflictions, it becomes a matter of concern for the native, because exalted malefic planets is a problem, debilitated malefic planets is a problem, isn't it? In both the cases, this is a problem. However, as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and one has to face many issues so far as 7th house is concerned, because 7th house, the Kendra houses, they occupy one of the most important aspects of our life, isn't it? That's why Kendra houses play an important role. So it's one of the Kendra houses considered, and primarily for marriage, marital life, and anything outside our domain, outside ourself, is comprised of 7th house rather. Anyhow, if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, it leads to extramarital affairs, and here the problem will be quite severe. The person will have network of affairs, and despite being married, the relationships will be there, and the native will have venereal disease, skin problems, problems with brothers, having a mind with criminal mindset will be there, and one will have impediments. One can't succeed in partnerships, business partnerships, and partnership of any kind rather, and one will have impediments also in settling abroad. However, if it is not afflicting, the results will be positive. What positive? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So if in case Rahu is not afflicting, and Rahu is quite strong, one will celebrate marriage, the marital life will be happy, it will take the native to foreign lands, especially during the Antardasha of Rahu, and the native will be successful in partnerships and with the dealings rather. So these are the main results of Rahu in 7th house in case of Scorpio ascendant. Now, Sagittarius ascendant chart, in case of Sagittarius ascendant, Rahu gives good results in under certain conditions rather, but usually it's not recommended in case of Rahu, Sagittarius ascendant, because it does not give such results as expected. However, under certain conditions we have to activate Rahu under certain conditions. So Rahu, as I mentioned, that is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and it becomes a matter of concern when Rahu starts giving afflictions in the chart. If it afflicts its house of placement in the 7th house, it becomes a matter of concern for the native, and when it's afflicting its house of placement, it leads to extramarital affairs. The native is involved in a series of scandals rather, I'll say, and one will face venereal disease, skin problems, impediments in business partnerships, and there will be problems with the brothers. One will have criminal mindset if Jupiter is utterly weak in the chart. So these are the main problems. To subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. However, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, the person will have a happy marital life, he will celebrate marriage, and the native will be successful in moving abroad during the Antardasha of Rahu. But in this case, Rahu should be utterly strong in the chart. A strong planet fructifies its significations during its Antardasha. So these are the main points, most important points that I mentioned in most of the podcasts that I put forth before my subscribers. And do subscribe the channel necessarily, because you will have a unique knowledge. You will have unique knowledge on Vedic astrology by following my podcasts, and share these podcasts as much as possible, so that other natives having interest in Vedic astrology can increase their knowledge. So in case the favorable aspect of Jupiter, the close aspect of Jupiter goes to Rahu, close aspect, I think aspect more than 50%, it goes to Rahu, it will control Rahu in the chart, isn't it? Similarly, if close aspect of Saturn goes to Rahu, it will control Rahu. In case close aspect of Venus goes to Rahu, it will strengthen Rahu, isn't it? So because Venus and Rahu, they have a close relationship with each other, so under these circumstances, one will face the issues accordingly, one will face the results accordingly, isn't it? So this is all about Rahu in 7th house in case of Sagittarius ascendant. Capricorn ascendant, Rahu gives good results in case of Capricorn ascendant as well under given conditions. However, as I mentioned that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and it becomes a matter of concern when it afflicts house of placement in the 7th house. When it's afflicting its house of placement, it leads to extramarital affairs. One will have venereal diseases. It leads to impediments in foreign settlement also, and one will have problems with brothers. One will have criminal mindset, and it leads to skin disease also. And the series of scandals and series of extramarital affairs, especially if Saturn is utterly weak in the chart, it will increase, and it will be more severe if the lagna arises in a Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu on the other hand gives uh, close afflictions in the 7th house, though that becomes a matter of concern for the native. Such a person can't be a reliable husband, a reliable wife, isn't it? Because to be loyal life partner in such a case is not something truth, isn't it? That's also filled with suspicions, isn't it? Anyhow, so these are the main results. However, if Rahu is not afflicting, and Rahu is strong, if it is not afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, what will happen? It will give good results. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon not to get notified for the upcoming videos. So in case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, it will lead to happy marital life when one will celebrate marriage, and there will be to some extent extra marital bond as well, but its severity will be low in case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house rather. So it will take the native to foreign land, especially during the Antardasha of Rahu. So these are the main results. However, if Moon is utterly strong in the chart, isn't it? If Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, or if the close aspect of Saturn goes to Rahu, that will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. So these are the main points. To subscribe the channel, isn't it? Now, Aquarius ascendant chart. For Aquarians, Rahu gives good results as well. It gives amazing results as well. So during the Antardasha of Rahu, the results are positive usually when Rahu does not give any affliction in the chart. However, if Rahu is afflicting, as I said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and if it is afflicting its house of placement in the 7th house, it will lead to extramarital affairs. Such a native will be having a series of relationships involved in scandals also, and not a reliable person as a life partner. It will lead to venereal diseases, skin issues, problems with brothers. Such a person will be having a criminal mindset, especially when Saturn is utterly weak in the chart. However, if Sun is utterly strong, Jupiter is utterly strong, Saturn is utterly strong, Mars is utterly strong, under such conditions, the impact of Rahu will lessen automatically, isn't it? Because this is the case where the significations of the houses are aspected, they get safeguarded due to the strength of their lords, respective lords. So these are the main results. So Aquarians will face these issues in case Rahu gives close aspect to close affliction to 7th house. In case Jupiter gives close aspect to Rahu, or Saturn gives close aspect to Rahu, under such conditions it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart, isn't it? So these are the results when it gives afflictions in the chart through its house of placement. However, if it does not afflict its house of placement, what will happen? It will give positive results. So what will be that? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So it will remove, it will lead to celebrating marriage. One will be having happy marital life as well. And in case of affliction in the 7th house, it may lead to vision problem in the eyesight, problem in the stomach as well, isn't it? If Sun is utterly weak in the chart. However, if it is not afflicting, it will lead to happy marital life and will celebrate marriage, and it will take the native to foreign lands, especially during its Antardasha. So these are the main results of Rahu in 7th house in case of Aquarius ascendant. Last chart, that is Pisces ascendant. Pisces ascendant is considered one of the disturbed ascendants as well as in case of Rahu, as in case of Virgo ascendant as well. And as Virgos face instabilities in health and other issues, same the Taurians face and the Pisceans also face. However, Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, as I mentioned it over and again. And Rahu gives worst results in case of Pisces ascendant natives. It can't be recommended in any situation. It can't be recommended because it creates mess in case of this ascendant. However, if Rahu is close to affliction, isn't it? If it afflicts its house of placement in the, if it is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house, it becomes a matter of concern. So it leads to extramarital affairs. Such a native will face venereal diseases, skin problems, problems with brothers. There will be impediments in settling abroad. One will have criminal mindset also, and there will be disturbed marital life because of the extramarital affairs. The trust on each other will be broken under such situation. Now what should be done? These are the results when Rahu afflicts Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the seventh house. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, do not get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So if Rahu is not afflicting, Rahu is strong but it is not afflicting, it gives positive results. One celebrates marriage, one enjoys happy marital life, and it takes the native to foreign lands as well during the sub period of Rahu. However, in case of affliction, when if Mercury is utterly strong in the chart, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. However, there is a proper gemstone remedy. Through a gemstone we can control Rahu. I'll be making a separate podcast how to control Rahu in case of Pisces and Virgo. I will mention that we can control Rahu, but how can we control, that will be a part of consultation rather. But there is a perfect remedy through a gemstone. Rahu in case of Pisceans will get controlled due to gemstone in a specific way, and this is practical. I am an astrologer with practical approach. I don't believe in there is nothing like believing in astrology, because it is a science, isn't it? So two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, that will make water molecule. So similarly, when the strengths of planets, when the aspects of planets and conjunctions of planets are evident, isn't it? They are the principles that you are following, they are accurate, so you will have the definite results will be there, isn't it? So these are the main results of Rahu in seventh house. A strange placement that disturbs most of the life of most of the natives due to the extramarital affairs one faces. And such natives also face gynecological issues and undiagnosed disease. They do USGs, what is happening in the private organs, what is happening in the uterus and all that, both males and females as well, but the test reports show normalcy, but the disease remains undiagnosed. So these are the results of Rahu in seventh house. This is all. Thank you. Bye bye.